Hi friends, you're watching Cricket with Raghuram. First of all, I would like to congratulate Team India for their superb win against Australia at the Gabba test today, for breaching the fortress Gabba, which was the strong fortress for Australia for many years, where they hadn't lost a test match for the past 32 years and for the past 31 matches. I would also wish India for winning not only this match but also this series 2-1 and also owning the Border-Gavaskar Trophy. Not only bringing a Gavaskar but also border home. Seeing the conditions in which India played this test match against Australia, it should be considered as one of the most famous wins on the Australian soil. It was not at all easy for Team India, who were beaten, bruised and abused. It was not easy for them to come back from where they were written off. It was not at all easy to come back from that humiliating 36 runs all out scenario in the first test, where they lost the test match miserably. India fought back to win the second match, drew the third match, and it was really courageous act on the part of India to come over all the way to Gabba, where they were given least chances to win, to go over, beat Australia on the final day and win the thrilling match by 3 wickets with 3 overs to spare. Given the conditions, this is definitely a famous win for India, not only in this match but also in this series. India was suffering from a lot of injuries and they had to change the team members. Once again, we had seen that in the previous test match, India played with 4 changes. This test was not different enough for India. They had to make 4 inevitable changes due to those injuries. India played one of the weakest bowling attacks, if we can see that collectively the Indian bowlers in this match did not have any experience at all. They had just shared 10 wickets among them, while Australian bowlers had more than 1000 wickets between their bowlers. When Tim Paine sledged Ravichandran Ashwin in the previous match and said, "Come to Gabba," Australia would never have thought that they would have to see this day at Gabba, where they would suffer from humiliating defeat in the hands of India. Definitely, I would tell India edged or sledged over Australia in the Gabba test and won this famous test and also made it an historic event which will be remembered forever. This test match will definitely be remembered for the grit, courage, resistance and attitude shown by the Indians. Every member of the Indian team contributed towards the Indian win against Australia at Gabba, but it was Rishabh Pant and Shubman Gill who took away the honors of being the superheroes for India on the final day. I would also give a hats off to the unlikely heroes who came in the form of debutant Washington Sundar and almost debutant Shardul Thakur in the first innings, who played that gritty innings to hold India in a position to win this test match. I've been watching test cricket from my childhood. I've been a keen observer and a big fan of this game. But where to put this Gabba test in the list of my favorites, I definitely can't tell. I'm really confused. Over a period of time, I have seen Team India win famous test matches and bring glory and pride for India, whether it is playing in home or away from home. But this test match at Gabba, this series which India won 2-1, will always be in my memory as one of the favorite match and one of the famous series I've ever seen India play outside home. I will always relish these memories of Indian fight back on the Australian soil. Thanks to Team India for giving such wonderful moments. Thanks to all the Team India members, the players, the supporting staff for giving such a wonderful tour, such good contest to one of the strongest teams, Australia, and come back glorious with lot of wins and lot of honors. We'll speak about this and much more about the Gabba test, but after a short intro. India was chasing a stiff target of 328 runs to win on the final day of the Gabba test, 324 to be precise, because 4 runs were already erased by India by the stumps on the 4th day. Everybody, including the cricket pundits, were looking at India to go for a draw. Most of them would not have expected India to go for a kill and win the test match today. It was quite obvious that India had a very clear strategy in their mind, and they brought that strategy into the ground, and it was not really obvious for the Australians. Australians were really confused if India were looking to draw the match or to win the match, because the offense and defense was intellectually and skillfully mixed up by India on the Gabba ground. Earlier on the 4th day, when Rishabh Pant was standing behind the stumps and enjoying while he was singing the song Spider-Man, Spider-Man, he was giving the clue for Australians that he was planning to create a web and trap Australians in their own game, but Australia did not catch the glimpse of the clue what Pant was giving them. Probably Pant was making the plans very clear. He had a clear view of what could happen on the 5th day of the match, and probably Pant had also decided that he would be the person who would take the attack and assault onto the Aussie bowlers. Probably Pant was visualizing the win for India even before anybody could do that. And Pant just did that on the final day. So he just murdered the Australian dreams and won the match for India. On the 5th and the final day, when India lost Rohit Sharma, the responsibility was on the shoulders of young Shubman Gill and the master strategist and Mr. Cool, Cheteshwar Pujara. Gill and Pujara built up an innings between them and played according to the strategy. Pujara and Gill were looking like turtle and tiger placed at the different ends of the pitch. The game plan was clear. Pujara would play the turtle role and Shubman Gill would definitely play the tiger role. Pujara did exactly what he is really good at. He stuck to one end, defended the ball and frustrated the Aussie bowlers. Shubman Gill was the attacking partner. He attacked the Aussie bowlers at his will and scored marvellous 91 runs, which could be the foundation for the Indian win in the coming overs. The young man missed out on his century, but what a superb knock he had laid the foundation for an Indian win. After the dismissal of Shubman Gill, in comes Indian captain Ajinkya Rahane. Ajinkya Rahane too started smashing the ball around and started quickly scoring the runs. The plan was clearly obvious now. Whoever comes to the non-Pujara end would attack the Aussie bowlers and Pujara would just defend at his end. So Indian strategy was clear. They would defend at one end and attack at the other. And in the later part of the match, when India would learn that they were in a commandable position to win this test match and they also have plenty of wickets in hand, they would definitely go for the kill and win the test match. And by chance, if they start losing wickets, they would go defensive and draw the match. So plan A and plan B were on for India at both ends of the crease. After the dismissal of Indian captain, in comes the Spider-Man, Rishabh Pant. Rishabh Pant has been in terrific form throughout the series. He has created a positive energy in the Indian camp. Whenever he comes, he scores quick runs and creates panic in the Aussie dressing room. He did just that in today's match also. While Pujara was defending one end with his defense, Rishabh Pant decided that he would be the terminator and destroyer. Pant and Pujara continued the same strategy, mixed offense and defense in a very effective way and built a healthy partnership. Pujara played out 211 balls for his 50 and his innings was really crucial and instrumental for the Indian win. When Pujara and Mayank Agarwal were dismissed in quick succession, India still needed 60 odd runs in the last 13 overs. India now had 5 wickets in hand and they had to play sensibly if they need to win the test match. Rishabh Pant, who was now playing superbly and he was not going to compromise with a draw, and the win for India was in his sight, got a very good company from Washington's Sundar, who was the hero of the first innings. Pant and Sundar put up a good partnership for the 6th wicket, where Sundar contributed 22 runs in quick time, and this probably was the partnership which could be considered as the final nail in the Australia's coffin. India was inching towards the victory when India lost the wickets of Sundar and Shardul Thakur in quick succession, but the victory was already in sight for India. Rishabh Pant finished the final rituals for India and India won the match by 3 wickets with 3 overs to spare. India had conquered Gabba, India had won the test match, India had won the test series 2-1 and also had retained the Border-Gavaskar Trophy. It was disappointment for Team Australia, but the Indian camp was rejoicing. The Indian fans were celebrating because India had won the historic match and historic series against Australia in Australia. One thing which could have disappointed India and would have brought pleasure for Australia was rain. Heavy rain was predicted on day 5. It did rain in between, but it was not a hard rain. Both the teams played in the spirit of game in the rain itself. The rain passed off and the match went to a thrilling finish where India emerged as winners. Rishabh Pant, the hero of the match, remained unbeaten on 89 runs and he missed what would be a deserved 100, but in the perspective of the match, it was a brilliant innings and century did not matter there. After all, Pant won the match for India. Pant won the series for India. With Pant playing in this way, in this form, with great commitment and grit, definitely the centuries are waiting for him. For Australia, Cummins was the pick of the bowlers. He picked 4 wickets while Lyon took 2 wickets. Earlier on day 1, Australia won the toss and decided to bat first. Australia made one change in the team. Harris came in place of Pucovski. India had to make 4 changes. India had to make 4 changes because of the injuries and non-availability of the key players. T. Natarajan made his debut and he was the 300th cap for India, while Washington Sundar also made his debut and he was 301st member to play test for Team India. Mayank Agarwal came back into the team while Shardul Thakur got an opportunity too. After losing early wickets of David Warner and Harris, Australia put 369 runs on board with the help of a magnificent and well-deserved century by Marnus Labuschagne. The Australian innings was constructed around Labuschagne's innings. Australia got useful contributions from the middle order batsmen. Tim Paine, Wade and Green batted superbly to add runs to the total. But the real frustration for Team India bowlers came in the form of the tail end of Australia. Lyon, Hazelwood and Stark collectively added 55 runs to the team's total. For India, debutants Natarajan and Sundar bowled superbly to take 3 wickets each, while Shardul Thakur was not far away. He too took 3 wickets. There was another challenge for India. Saini was injured very earlier in the match and India had to manage their bowling strategies with only 4 bowlers in the attack. We could also see Rohit Sharma finish the unfinished over by Saini. Replaying the Australian first innings total, India was put in a pathetic condition when they were 186 for 6 with the entire top order and middle order back in the pavilion. Then came the surprise heroes for India in the form of Washington Sundar and Shardul Thakur. Debutant Washington Sundar and almost debutant Shardul Thakur played like professional batsmen. They played 259 balls between them, showing utmost grit and composure. This for me is the first turning point for India to win this test match. Sundar and Thakur put vital 123 runs for the 7th wicket and denied Australia a big lead. If this partnership wouldn't have come for India, India would have been in deep trouble, would have conceded a big first innings lead to Australia and probably would have even lost the test match. Thanks to Sundar and Thakur for their superb innings and for putting a platform from where India won the test match. Sundar scored 62 runs while Shardul Thakur made 67 runs and obviously they were the top scorers for India in the first innings. With the confidence Sundar and Thakur were batting right at the center, it even looked like India would erase Australia's first innings total or probably even take a small lead. But that was not to happen. India conceded a small 33-run lead to Australia. Hazelwood was the pick of the bowlers for Australia. He picked 5 wickets. As expected, Australia played aggressively and piled up quick runs in their second innings. They scored a total of 294 runs and gave India a target of 328 runs to win. With the exception of Wade, the entire top and middle order of Australia contributed useful runs to the total, with Steve Smith top scoring with 55 runs. For India, Siraj and Thakur bowled superbly. Siraj picked up the 5-wicket haul, but Thakur missed his fifer by 1 wicket. In spite of losing Rohit Sharma's wicket early in the day, India managed to play well, play to the plan and strategy, and get those 328 runs needed for victory with 3 overs to spare. This match will be remembered for many reasons. First of all, India was playing at Gabba. Gabba was a tough place to win the test match. It was a strong fortress for Team Australia. Australia had not lost a test for so many years on this particular ground. India was playing deficit of its key batsmen and bowlers. India had a compromised bowling attack. India had to make inevitable 4 changes in the team. On top of that, Saini was injured and India had to manage with 4 bowlers. And on top of this, India was playing against a strong Australian team. India had played well in the second and third test matches. After the humiliating defeat in the first test match, they had kept their hopes alive. The contest was even, with India and Australia having won a test match each. Australia had to win this test match if they had to win the Border-Gavaskar Trophy, but that was not a rule for India. Even if this match was a draw, India would still retain the Border-Gavaskar Trophy. Australia was obviously the team in pressure, but on the other hand, India was a weaker team compared to the Australian team on cards. So Australia definitely had the advantage of winning this particular test match and upsetting India, and also winning the Border-Gavaskar Trophy. But I should tell, India showed great character to come back and win this test match against all the odds. India had to play like a unit, and India did play like a unit. There are many superheroes of this particular match. Particularly, I would like to mention Washington Sundar and Shardul Thakur, who contributed both with bat and the ball. They were the people who actually saved the test match for India. And on the final day, it was Superman Shubman Gill and Spider-Man Rishabh Pant who won the test match for India. In this instance, I cannot forget the contribution of Cheteshwar Pujara, not only in this test match, but also in the previous test matches. Every time he came there, he played like a monk. He held the end and made it possible for India either to draw the test match or to win the test match. The contributions of Siraj and Natarajan cannot be ignored. They bowled superbly. This Gabba test match and the previous test matches, especially for India, was all about the story of the lesser knowns. This series against Australia for India is the story of those small contributions which made a big impact. And last but not the least, how can we forget Ajinkya Rahane? Ajinkya Rahane played the role of a cool and composed captain. He led the team from the front. He also got a century in the series. He made the series look easier in the absence of Virat Kohli. He managed whatever resources was given at his disposal, and he would definitely relish these proud moments for getting honor and pride for India. In his captaincy, we could see the rejuvenation of the Indian team, the fight back to glory, and winning the test series. A captain is as good as his team, and a team is as good as its captain. India won 2 matches under his leadership and managed to draw another test match, and it is a commendable feat. Hats off to Rahane and his leadership. And we cannot, of course, ignore that man, Virat Kohli. India might have won this match, won this series without his presence at Australia, but this team is equally Kohli's team. Rishabh Pant, for his match-winning performance, was adjudged the man of the match, while Cummins walked away with the player of the series honours. But for me, the entire Indian team is the player of the match and the player of the series. And before ending this video, I would definitely like to mention a good heart gesture from Team India. At the presentation, Indian captain Ajinkya Rahane gifted Nathan Lyon with a jersey signed by all the Indian players on account of Lyon finishing his 100 test matches. Such a cool gesture, isn't it? Only India can do that. Check the India. Congratulating Team India for winning this match and this series. I would also wish good luck to Team India for all the matches to be played ahead in this year. Thanks for watching my video. If you have loved my video, kindly like, share and subscribe my channel. I will catch up with you all in my next video. Until then, goodbye. Namaste.